Hey y'all, this is Melina Bircher, your Texas Hill Country luxury realtor, and I'm sitting here with the illustrious Mike Robare.
How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Yes, we're here in Mike's personal library, which is incredible. I don't think video is going to do it justice, Mike. This is
Thank you. Not bad for a guy who can't read, but I'm just kidding.
so,
So,
Mike, you've just won an award.
yes, ma'am.
Tell us about the award.
Well, we were nominated by our peers through the Greater San Antonio Builders Association as the Distinguished Single Family Builder of the Year, which is the
Wow.
highest award they give out every year for a single family builder.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
incredible.
Many years in the making.
Yes. Well, tell us how many years in the making, and what does set Robert apart from other builders, other luxury builders?
Sure. Well, that term is used quite loosely, but we'll talk about that in a moment. But started in 1998, partnered up with a guy. He had the experience, and I brought the finances to the project. And the old adage is, "What ship doesn't stay afloat? That's usually a partnership." So, anyways,
Yeah.
with that being said, we parted ways after a couple of years and opened my own company under Robare Custom Homes. So we've been 25 years plus as Robare Custom Homes now. So it's been a
Wow.
while in the making.
25 years. Okay. And that about that question, the luxury, right? Luxury in
Right.
quotes, air quotes, because everybody says luxury now. And
Right.
what luxury means to one person isn't necessarily luxury to another. So what does
Right.
luxury mean to you?
I'm not sure it even has to mean anything to me. It's what's it mean to you, my client, right? If we're talking to a client and what do they want? We have an unlimited, open-ended allowance category. So they can pick items from Italy or England or anything they want as long as we can get it
Home
on.
Depot.
Yeah, sure. Could be. But they could pick anything they want from anywhere. We've got
Yeah.
resources literally worldwide. So we bring in a lot of unique features and items that other builders just really aren't willing to do.
Yeah.
But and you've seen some of the websites out there where they kind of have a gold, silver, and platinum package or something. I just tell people we're Platinum Plus. I mean, we just, everything is brand name. We use Pella windows only, spray foam insulation only, 2x6 exterior construction,
Yeah.
right down the list of top quality items. Because, homes are, in my opinion, are tough enough to build, especially custom homes. First off, in 25 plus years, I've never built the same home twice.
Wow.
So it's truly a new adventure every
Wow.
time we start. And one of the things I've found is just there's no substitution for quality.
Yeah.
And they're so hard to build once. Why would I want to come back for warranty or have to do it twice?
Yeah.
So we just don't.
And that's why you're the home builder of the year.
Could be part of it, I'm sure. Thank you.
I want to talk about ceiling height.
Yep.
So when I walked into your home, I thought I'd seen high residential ceilings before, but your home is probably up there with the highest right?
You're
With the highest I've ever seen. So
you.
what is the height of your ceiling? So what is going on with residential ceiling height? Because it seems like we keep upping the bar.
What we found in the luxury market, the upper end luxury, people like volume.
Yeah.
And so I start at 10 feet in some of the ancillary rooms, but most of my homes are 12, 14 foot one stories and up to 24, 25 feet on a two-story application, which is what you see
Yeah.
in my main living room. So our formal living room is 24-foot ceilings.
It's amazing. And the drama of the fireplace
Yeah, it goes all
going
the way up.
all the way up, those 24, 25 feet. Wow. Yeah, I do notice, even in some luxury homes that I go into that are maybe 10 years old, it feels like the ceilings are really low. And it is a beautifully built home. But as you get into these more current homes that are being built, the ceilings keep getting higher and higher, which makes
Right, they do. People just kind of want what they want. One of my standards at Robert for many years, even when we were doing 9-foot ceilings or 10-foot only, I've always done 8-foot doors.
Yeah.
So the doors feel a little bigger and feel a little wider, things
Yeah.
like that. So we make sure it's going to be a forever home for you.
Yeah. So what are the biggest doors you've ever installed in a home?
Wow, I had a model home in 2017, and it was a 6x12 single door.
Wow.
So big front door.
With like an iron
Big
door?
front door. Yeah, an iron door, but it was
Yeah.
6x12 pivot.
Wow.
It was massive. That's the single biggest door I've put in. I've duplicated that interior. I did a house up in Canyon Lake for a couple that were attorneys, and they had an incredible library, much like this, but 4 times bigger. And they had two 4-foot, 12-foot doors to enter their library, but it was where they worked and did their Zoom calls and meetings from. So it was wood paneled all the way around. It was 16 feet tall, and they had all their law books. I mean, every shelf was filled. It was amazing. It was a beautiful library.
Wow. So let's talk about some of your ongoing projects right now.
Sure.
and I'm very excited about a few that you have. We've got Parade of Homes for 2026 coming up.
We do, and we finally have those plans ready. Even though it's late 24, we're on point to make sure it's going to be on time and be spectacular. So it's going to be about a 5,000 square foot mid-century super modern piece.
Are we allowed to spill the beans on that yet? Where it's going to be?
Yeah, we sure, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be in the Stone Creek subdivision out in Fair Oaks Ranch. And all 10 lots are side by side. So it's kind of an even playing field, so to speak, no metaphor there, but all of them have the same orientation. So it's really going to come down to kind of the best builder, because there won't be any edge on saying, well, I picked the sun setting in the back or the front, because they're all on the same exact angle. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's very friendly competition, but there's 8 builders so far.
Okay.
Still plenty of time. I think they have 10 or 11 lots available. So it could be one of the biggest parades we've seen in quite a while as far as the number of homes and entries. We're very excited about that.
Yeah. So if someone's watching this right now and they have interest in hearing about how they can own your Parade of Homes or follow you along the journey, is that a possibility?
Absolutely. At this point in the stage, I'm still truly a custom builder. So I don't do a lot of specs. I do one spec at a time, maybe specification home or spec home in our industry, right? And then I'll do a parade every 4 or 5 years, but they can just contact you. And the earlier they contact you.
I know a realtor.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're the one representing it. So, but the crux of it is if they get there early enough, they can still pick a lot of their colors.
Right.
Once I get past probably May or June of this year, it's going to be locked down, because I've got to be able to produce that house with a hard deadline for the start of the parade in early May of 26. So we're only 15 months away already. It sounds like it's a long ways away, but it's not.
It's not. Yeah.
So with my average home taking 12 to 16 months to build, we're right on pace.
Yeah.
So we're going to break ground about March.
So if the process of building custom, right? We talked about your average build size, about 4,000 square foot, I believe.
Yep.
Okay. So what is the timeline? Let's say somebody says, I want to go with you, Mike. I want to do custom. We want to, design the plans from scratch and pick a lot. And what is the timeline from how long does it take to get the architectural design in place and approved, and then to pour, slab, and then completion date, like we're moving in?
Sure. If we're talking our average, let's say under 5,000 square feet, because over 5,000 depends on the complexity of the house and as well as the location. But under 5,000, I can usually guarantee about a 2-year turn for everything. If you don't have the land yet, you need plans. But I tell people you're about 6 months in planning, maybe 7, and then about 18 months for the entire build.
Okay.
And there's some variables in there in the county versus city limits and things like that with inspections. But for the most part, I tell them we're going to be engaged for a couple of years.
Okay. So if someone didn't want to wait the 2 years, you do have a spec home going up currently.
I do, yes.
One or
just
more?
One right now.
Just one. You want to tell us about that one?
Yeah, it's a 2-story design, and it's just under 5,000 square feet. It's going to have an incredible pool in the backyard, 4 bedrooms, 4.5 baths. But I did something very unique. It's a very flat lot, but yet it's on a hilltop. So I decided to put the master up. And I know that's counterintuitive to what a lot of people want these days. But I also was smart enough to know we're going to put an elevator in. So we have a glass shaft elevator going in.
Of course you were.
So we have a glass shaft elevator going in that looks out the front elevation. And then all that is upstairs is the master suite.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to go on vacation, or they have older kids, or they just have a housekeeper or dogs or pets, they want someone to come in, they can still lock off that private master suite from the entire house.
Wow.
And it's got a 3-sided wraparound porch, so you can walk around outside the master wing all the way to the back and go down to the pool on a private staircase.
And you just started pouring the slab, or you just
we're halfway through framing right now. So we've poured the
wow.
concrete, and we're framing. That house will be ready by the end of this year, the end of 2025.
So if you have any interest, again, they could have some input and some
Right, they
finish
can call
outs
you, and yep. I've worked on cabinets today, but haven't selected wood yet or paint colors.
Okay.
So the cabinet design is pretty well done, but other than that, we're still very open.
Okay.
At least for 90 days or so.
Great. So if you don't want to wait the 2 years,
Right.
we have a project in process.
You have it about 10 months.
The next one would be the Parade of Homes home coming up, and pouring. You're going to be pouring, breaking ground on like in
March,
February.
April. No, March, April.
March,
I think,
April. Okay. You said the new homes that you're building are more modern. Your home that we're sitting in right now, what would you call this style?
Probably very transitional, right? It's very modern, kind of crisp French country on the outside.
Yeah.
But for the most part, other than this library, it's pretty modern, very modern on the inside. Got a lot of very straight linear lines, not a lot of arches, if any. There are no arches in this house. But all those things kind of come together and give it certainly much more of a modern, vibe and tone to it. So.
What is your favorite style to build?
Everybody asks me that. I don't have one. I mean, I'm like a kid in a candy store or a grown man in a Ferrari store. I mean, there's like eight there. They're all different, and what you want them all, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I love what I do. I want to do what you want me to do. But I mean, all time favorite, probably Tuscan, not necessarily Mediterranean, but
Yeah.
Tuscan. I love kind of that old world vibe, the barrel tile, but I love the crisp new metal roofs and flat roofs that are TPO'd and the white and grays palettes. I really love it all.
Yeah.
I really love it all, but certainly the modern homes are a little bit more trendy than some of the
Yeah.
traditional. So I try to combine the best in my personal home here. And then of course the Tuscan Mediterranean look is obviously tried and true for hundreds of years as something that's still up to date.
So let me ask you, I know you say it's all about the client preference and what the client wants. What is one thing you would try and talk them out of that might be a trend that you see going the way of the shag carpet?
Ooh, that's a great question. Talk them out of.
Or have you ever talked anybody out of
You know,
going a direction?
I just try to make it, the house normal enough to resell, right? You're in that industry, so it needs to be your home and your home only. But at the same time, we're all smart enough to know the national average is about 10 years in a home. So you can tell me all day long it's going to be your forever home, but it's probably not going to be.
Yeah.
So we got to make sure you can sell. I had a couple one time out in Medina County wanting a 4,000 square foot, 1 bedroom home.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, make a study and a small gymnasium. We can do something, but we need to put a closet in it at minimum so we can call it a bedroom.
Yeah.
And from an appraisal perspective, it's got to be 3 bedrooms anyways. For the most part, unless you're paying cash, it gets very difficult to finance a home with 1 or 2 bedrooms. So
Right.
they acquiesced and added a little bit of square footage, and we did a 3 bedroom home for them.
Okay.
Yeah, and the 2
Makes
bedrooms were small enough, to not take up too much square footage, and we kept them pretty straightforward. So from a price point, it didn't cost them a lot. But that's probably something I talked somebody into. Most things are just, people want cutting edge, and with the internet out there, a lot of the upper end clients that I deal with that want that super luxury already have a grocery list of things they want in their home.
Right.
The newest and latest in security
Yeah.
and technology, and of course the appliances. That's just wow. So they're all the
The
time.
espresso
newest.
makers are almost standard, right?
Exactly. Some kind of
Yeah.
in-wall coffee maker, espresso maker, warming drawers, under-counter microwaves instead
Yeah.
of in the wall. All those things are just constantly evolving. So we just try to read up quite a bit and make sure we're on the front edge of all that.
Yeah. What would you say is the coolest feature you've built into one of your homes? Maybe like a driving range, indoor driving range, or shooting range,
Yep.
or something.
I've done
that
both of those actually.
Okay.
Out in Comal County. I did a house about 15 years ago that had an underground range, and this gentleman actually manufactured high speed or high velocity rounds for the military.
Oh, wow.
So he needed his own testing compound, and we got it was a 3 acre tract, but we got the HOA to sign off on putting a tunnel underneath, and we tunneled the whole thing in.
Wow.
And did a 100-meter range for him underground. It was
Wow.
very, very cool. That's certainly one thing, but most are not near that dramatic,
Yeah.
right? I've done several theater rooms that are big enough to be indoor driving ranges. I had a retiring officer from the Air Force put a full-blown simulator, beautiful Canadian
Wow.
simulator. I mean, lasered up and everything, and he could play any golf course in the world. I mean, this thing was so tricked out. There was even fans in the room to replicate wind.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it had windage and everything. It was a very cool room.
Yeah.
Very, very, very cool room. So lots of fun. I do a lot of wine cellars. Wine cellars
Yeah.
are very popular. Lots of wine rooms, lots of wine cellars.
Yeah.
So
Very good. What about pool? Do you actually design the pools, or you work with a
I work
pool
with
partner?
a couple different local pool builders. You know both the names. But I'm a big fan of being expert at what you do, not really good at several things.
Yeah.
And I think that's why our clientele is almost all referral. We just do the job we're supposed to do. I mean, a lot of my buddies are like, you can make 30, 40 grand more if you start doing your own pools and all that. But I don't have the time for that if I'm paying attention to you and making sure inside is as perfect as
I
it can
love
be.
that.
And there are experts in the pool business that
Yeah.
don't build houses. They just do pools.
Yeah.
That's who you need, in my opinion, building your pool.
I love that.
I mean,
Great
you
philosophy.
just can't keep up with all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And the pool business changes like the home building business does. There's new self-cleaning floors now and all kinds of spray
Yeah.
heads and lighting things. I can barely keep up with what I do. I can't keep
Yeah.
up with what you do, right? So
Yeah.
we count on the experts we surround ourselves with to put the best house together we can.
Right. So for resale, what would you say is like the number one thing right now in your builds that you say, you should have?
Probably a pool.
Okay.
I would say a pool and a gourmet kitchen.
Yeah.
Everybody loves to cook, so probably in that order. When you're at $2 million and above, for the most part, people expect a pool.
Yeah.
You'd be remiss building one without it. But the pool world is funny because it's love or hate. They've had 3 pools and never want a pool again. Don't care how much they spend on the house, or they're not doing a pool, or why isn't the pool there? But there's not a
Yeah.
lot of gray area.
Yeah.
So, but a pool certainly is a huge selling feature for the future, and just people can enjoy the water.
Yeah.
But gourmet kitchens are big.
What do you think
40
about
inch range.
fireplaces?
They're the least efficient part of a house, right?
Yeah.
Now, all the new sealed units, the glass modern units, those are great. But if you've got a big firebox like we have here in this library, well, it's the weakest point in the house from an energy efficiency standpoint. We pride ourselves on being a high performance builder, which just means your house is as tight and as capable as it can be to save as much energy and your utilities as you can. So
Yeah.
I love fireplaces is the answer. I grew up in New England.
Yeah.
I mean, I love an open fire, so it just kind
Yeah.
of depends, right?
I grew up in Hawaii, and one of my boxes on my list for a house was to have one in the master, to have a
Nice.
fireplace, or the primary, right?
primary, right.
Yeah.
Very
So
nice.
I got my box. I got my fireplace in the primary.
I
So
love it.
yeah.
I love it.
And you, how many fireplaces in this house?
4.
4. And then is that counting the exterior?
Yeah, that's counting the that's
Yeah.
counting that's kind of the one in the pool house. So there's 3 inside and then 1 outside.
So what's the deal with wallpaper?
Wallpaper is almost seasonal, right? I mean, the 24 parade of homes just finished up, and I was one of the ambassadors out there for the 24. I wasn't in the parade, but many of the homes had some accent walls, and a couple of the powder baths had all 4 walls. I'm building one right now out in the Canyons of Scenic Loop, and we've got wallpaper in 5 different rooms, all accent walls, but we've got a lot of wallpaper.
Wow.
So it's
It made a comeback.
it trends in and
Yeah.
out. I would say it's trending in right now.
Yeah.
And it's just so versatile, and there's so many things you can do with it. It's still appropriately priced. I mean, it's not over the top, so it's pretty popular.
Yeah.
I'd say 30% of my houses do a little bit of wallpaper.
Okay.
So not a lot, but certainly can. The ultra modern vibe, or the true modern contemporary vibe, really doesn't call for it. So I do a lot more paneling of wood and that mid-century look more than I do wallpaper.
Okay. So when you Google luxury builders in San Antonio, you get hundreds, right? So what's something somebody can do to kind of sort through, or how can you better define that term?
Yeah, kind of mitigate the what you're having to look at. I think the question that most people could ask right away, and the web will tell a lot of people that just by looking at it, but try to find a builder that does maybe less than 15 homes a year, so you really get that touch.
Yeah.
If a house has a name like the Hawthorne or the the Bugle Boy, then it's probably been built more than once.
Right.
So luxury to me kind of connotates custom, and custom is for me a true one-off. And when you have a Robare home, it is the only Robare like that, and it's the only house like that.
Right.
So that's maybe that's a little hard over for some people, but I'm true custom.
Okay.
And it's true custom to me is someone that does 10 to 12 a year at the most and can spend time with their clients one-on-one. If you're having to meet 2 layers of sales reps and then a design center and then all this, and you never meet the owner, is that really what you're looking for a project of the 2 million and up category?
Right. So what is that brings up a good point, design center. So I've done that with many clients.
Sure.
Go to the design center. So what would be the alternative?
Wide open city. We can shop where we want together. I mean, I've got accounts everywhere, so I don't bring you to our design center where we have 4 choices in tile.
Yeah.
You have unlimited choice in tile, unlimited choice in flooring, appliances, light fixtures, plumbing fixtures. All those items, we walk with you step by step, wherever you'd like to go in town.
I love that.
And for that matter, out of town. I mean, I've had people go to Houston and pick up certain items. I've gone to Austin 2 or 3 times for lighting meetings.
Wow.
So there's a lighting company up there that's not here in San Antonio yet that we use, and people love that. They bring in catered lunch, and it's a small event. It's a lot of fun.
Let me ask you, what's the most expensive lighting fixture you've ever installed in a home, and where did it come from?
$30,000,
Wow.
and which is mid range for upper luxury. I mean, I've seen a few that were 6 figures. We haven't installed it, but 30,000 was the highest we've done. Weighed 365 pounds, so there's another 3,000 for installation.
Oh my
They had to go
gosh.
back up in the rafters and rig for it, right? And it came from Lighting Inc. here in town.
Lighting Inc.
Lighting Inc. Incorporated, yeah, they're the biggest in Texas.
A chandelier? Was it modern? Was it? I want to see a picture of
Yeah,
this
it
now.
was modern. It was modern,
Okay.
so it was very cool.
What do you think of the waterfall island?
Love them.
Yeah.
love them. It certainly saves wear and tear. It's the busiest part of the house, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody gathers around the island to talk, converse at dinner time, getting dinner ready. We certainly do at our home. So that waterfall edge is, one, very attractive, but two, just kind of protects that side of the cabinet because that's the one that gets
Practical.
beat up where everybody's leaning over all the time anyway. So if it's a man-made product or natural granite, then it survives time, right? And
Yeah.
it just looks clean and crisp at all times.
When did that start? When did the waterfall start?
10, 12 years ago, maybe.
Really? That
Yeah,
long ago?
Yeah, it's been quite. I've been doing them for quite a while.
Okay.
And it's not every house. Some people like that formal, especially in a Tuscan, right?
Uh-huh.
You start talking about period pieces. So when modern started coming on, waterfall showed up, right? But in the tried and true, your Texas Hill Country homes and whatnot, it's not so much of a feature because it was about the cabinetry and the wood, right?
Yeah.
And the wood grain and the tones.
Yeah.
So the warm tones lend itself to stay away from that. The cool tones tend to bring you towards the waterfalls.
What is your preferred flooring for durability and style and
Yeah.
practicality? But
Any type of porcelain.
yeah.
Right. Porcelain is, about 6,000 PSI. So strength wise, it's the strongest floor you could pretty much put down. And the tiles vary from all the wood looking ones you could think of to the most beautiful knockoff marble that look like marble.
Yeah.
So you can cover the gamut in there. We won't use ceramic anymore. It's just not strong enough. And then, of course, any type of engineered wood products. I mean, these floors here are engineered wood floors, and you couldn't tell real wood from these in a heartbeat. So it lasts a lot longer, less warping, way less maintenance. So it comes down to customer satisfaction, right?
Yeah.
But I just finished a house out in Bernie that had 6,000 square feet of true sand and seal. Nailed it down, sanded it and sealed it, real wood floors.
Wow.
All white oak. It was beautiful. So it's really what the customer desires. But if you're asking me, certainly porcelain products and wood floors.
What about the floating vanities
Love
in the
'em.
bathrooms? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're especially in the master, we're usually in there barefoot.
Yeah.
So saves all those toe stubs and all those ouches, right? But
Yeah.
it tends to make a smaller space look bigger, right? Because you can see the floor all the way under, and we finish everything behind our cabinets anyways. So everything that's kind of done at Robare is just an accent. So that actually adds to the joy and flair of looking at your home. So I like it.
So what do you think of the definition of luxury being like 2.5, 3 times the average home price in the area? Do you think that's too, or price per square foot?
That's a hard question to answer, but really, luxury is really defined by the client. But we've kind of talked about it today quite a bit about just how maybe that term is overused. But it's about the quality of the product, not necessarily the size.
Yeah.
I just built for a single lady downtown San Antonio 3 years ago. Had a substantial budget, but only wanted 2,000 square feet.
Yeah.
So it isn't necessarily the size of the home,
Right.
right? It's like going to HEB, right? Two heads of cabbage in a bag is 15 pounds, probably cost you $3.
Yeah.
15 pounds of filet mignon is probably $300.
Yeah.
Right? But the bag looks the same on the outside, right?
Yeah.
So there's just so many variables that go in a house to create the magic you want as a luxury client.
Yeah.
So, but we cater to every bit of that. We just roll out the red carpet, so to speak, to
So
make sure.
beautiful answer. What would you consider luxury, and then next category, super luxury? Like what transitions one from to the other?
I think just the process, the one-on-one time with the builder or their senior superintendent or their senior interior designer maybe, that just really hold your hand. It really comes down to customer service and feeling like you're part of the process. You're not just a number to us. I know people's families, their kids, their extended families, their birthdays, their anniversaries. And we get to know all of our clients. And you get much over 12 or 14 homes, 16 homes a year, you really can't do that, in my opinion. So we keep it very small and close-knit on purpose.
Yeah.
And our customers really appreciate
And
it.
that's why you're the #1 builder in San Antonio.
This year, man, but thank you, yes.
When did you know you wanted to build homes?
I think I really fell in love with it. I lived in Dallas for a few years before I moved to San Antonio, and I bought a 1912 Prairie-style home that I restored to original
Wow.
by myself. And
Wow.
that's when I really got the bug to build, and almost more reclaim and restore than build new. But that market in San Antonio is pretty minimal, so obviously to make a living, I do new as well. But my heart really is truly as much restoration as I can do. And we're talking whole house projects. I can't do small remodel rooms. The remodelers are just the best at what they do. But if we're talking about a gut and redo and bring it back to its original glory, that's where I'd like to be.
Give us a teaser about the parade of homes that you're building in Fair Oaks.
Well, that's going to be a lot of fun, right? It's out there at Stone Creek, who hosted the parade 10 years ago, or will be 10 years in 26. So it's back to back. It's a new section they're opening. They're all 1 acre plus tracts, about
Wow,
right, just a
nice.
hair over an acre. And this house is going to be spectacular. The orientation is such that the sun sets on the front of the house, so the back is going to be a shaded paradise every day of the summer, and of course into the fall and winter months, it's going to be just beautiful and peaceful. So we've got almost a U-shaped house, private courtyard, 4-car garage, and an incredible pool going in, as well as a pool house. And the pool house is going to be very, very special. I really can't say much more about that at this point.
Okay.
It's going to be spectacular.
What is one modern feature in this home that you think is going to knock people's socks off that you can share?
You know you're hurting me, right?
He wants to tell us.
It's like, yes! It's like, the kid in the class who has that secret, just can't keep it in. There will be a fireplace in the pool house that no one has ever seen in San Antonio, ever.
You're going to see it. As we start to break ground, we'll follow the process.
Fireplace guy and I have been working 5 months already on this before I had the plans done.
Wow.
And we're going to have a fireplace application that has never been seen.
Wow. I can't wait.
So it's going to be very, very feng shui, very cool, very linear, pretty open floor plan. But there's going to be a lot of secrets that we
So if you want to buy the Parade of Homes winner, and I'm speaking that prophetically,
thank you.
reach out to me and we'll let you pick some of the finish outs and follow the process all the way along. And then you'll have how awesome would it be to have own the winner of the Parade of Homes? And then as you come home every day, you're going through a parade of beautiful homes.
Yeah, a street of homes. I'm saying we've had this will be our 6th parade, and all 5 of my parade homes, so talk about being prophetic, have sold before I finished them.
Wow.
Before the parade, and I lease it back from the owner to finish the parade.
Okay.
And none of them were pre-sold. I didn't have clients for them, but as we built them and I kind of cast the vision of what was going in this special parade house, every one of them is sold before the parade.
Yeah.
So I fully expect this house to be gone by end of year this year.
Yeah.
And then I'll lease it back for the spring and finish the parade and hand it to the folks 1 June. So it'll be available 1 June 2026.
Okay.
So for all of my people that need a timeline, a hard timeline, that house will be available to move in 6/1.
Love it.
So yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Lots of fun.
It's going to be great. Can't wait to see that fireplace.
Oh my God.
I love fireplaces.
Oh yeah, you are going to flip out. No idea.
Okay. Well, Mike, it's been great sitting here with you today. And I'm sure a lot of people watching are going, how do I get in touch with Mike?
Yep. Well, the best way is really just the web, right? Just or info or Mike at robarecustomhomes.com. We're easy to find on the web. We're on social media, so we're pretty easy to track down.
And it's really important to get you involved early on in the process so that we can consult you on buying the lot or choosing the lot, would you say?
I would say 75% of my customers, maybe even 80, already have land.
Okay.
We truly are built on your lot. We don't hold a lot of properties. That way we can keep our overhead to a minimum so we can pass that value to our clients, right? But certainly before the plans are drawn.
Yeah.
Because I just have 30 years worth of experience rattling around in my head. I can't wait to put on paper for you and designing your home. So we really want that to be a one-on-one experience and a true Robare that you live in.
Yeah.
It'll be the only one ever built.
I love that.
So
Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much
Pleasure's all
for your
mine.
time,
Thank you so
Mike.
much.
Thank you for inviting us into your beautiful home.
Thank you.